Hi, I'm Cameron McKenzie. I'm the editor-in-chief over at the serverside.com, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about screen scraping. One of the projects that I like to use to do some screen scraping and spidering is JSoup. And I want to show you how to use that. So I'm going to first start off simply by creating a Maven project. Let's create a simple Maven project. And I'll call it com.mcnz.scraper. Call it the page scraper. 1.0 is good, and I think that's all I need in order to start things off. So I've got a nice little Java project here. Now, one of the things you will want to do if you're going to be using this is add the JSoup dependency. So I'm going to add that to my code. And there we go. We've got JSoup ready to make our application nice and interesting. Format that code just a little bit just to make it look good. And there we go. We're off to a good start. Now we've got JSoup being brought in by Maven. The next step is to maybe just create a new Java class. And this Java class will be called the JSoup screen scraper. And I'll add a public static void main method in there. And there we go. We're off to an even better start now. And so the first question is, what do we want to scrape? Well, I've got a nice little web page here. It's about GitHub interview questions. And, maybe you are part of a content management site, and every time a published item goes up, you want to get the person's name, and you want to get, keep track of the number of comments that are on the page. You can see we've got the number of comments there, only one. Maybe even get the title of the web page itself, Tough Sample GitHub Interview Questions and Answers. And by doing that, you would be doing something called screen scraping. So how do you do that? Well, JSoup makes it incredibly easy. The first thing you need is that URL. So I'm going to throw that into my main method. So I've got the URL. The next thing is to just get JSoup to turn that URL into a JSoup document. So let's say document page to scrape equals JSoup.connect to that URL and get that page. Now this is going to get us that web page in the format of a JSoup document. It's barking about some import statements, so I'll do a Control-Shift-O, import JSoup. I might even just throw the wildcard on there. And now we've got access to all of the different JSoup components. There's a little exception there, so we'll do the lazy throws exception, and we're off to the races. Now, let's just imagine I wanted to get the title of every single page that had been published. And so you can see there's the title there, Tough Sample GitHub Interview Questions. I think it matches what's in the header there. Well, to do that, all I have to do is say, hey, I want that page that I've just scraped, page to scrape, I want to get the title. And so, simple as this, system.out.println. I can see what the title is. Percentage S, and say page to scrape dot get. It's just title. And there we go. That should be a printf. And now when this runs, it should pull that page in and get the title. And I'm ready to run it. Say run that as a Java application. And you see the title is Tough Sample GitHub Interview Questions and Answers. So that's part one, all up and running. I'm already scraping a page, which is pretty impressive. Now, when you're scraping a page, things aren't quite as lucky as just getting the title. There's also body method. I think there's a head method as well. But let's say I wanted to get, the name there. Now, in order to get that, you have to kind of tell JSoup kind of exactly where that is in the page. If I right-click and select Inspect here, you'll see that, well, I mean, there's this whole deep hierarchy, and you can say, hey, this is off HTML, off body, off this div, and you could uniquely identify the location of that on the page. However, fortunately, if I go inspect, the inspector in Chrome actually has this option. If you hit the three ellipses there, you can say copy selector, and that will actually copy a jQuery CSS selector that points right to that anchor tag, and the anchor tag's text is the name of the author. And so that allows me to go into Eclipse, say string author link selector equals, and that great big long selector there. Actually, that one's not too long, but there will be long ones in a moment to come. And then I can say, hey, okay, get that into a JSoup sort of element object. So element author link equals, what is that? Page to scrape dot select first and say author link selector. And so this should give me that author link. And then if I want to know what the author's name is, I can just say system.out.printf. And then finally just say author link dot text. I always forget if it's the getter or the actual gist, but there it is. So author link dot text. Now that should print out the author's name for the article. So I'll give that a try. I'll just add some formatting, so it'll be a new line, so it's not going to all come up on the same line. Let's say run that as a Java application, and hopefully we're going to see both the title and also the author's name. So the author's name is Cameron Mackenzie. Similarly, you can do things like go in, find the number of comments, and I think I got that pre-packaged here. So I'm going to paste that in. So there's the selector for the comments. Now, again, how did I figure that out? Well, if you go to the page, you can see all the way down here. There's that GitHub pink unicorn. I always think that's funny. And you see at the bottom of the page, it says, hey, here there's been one comment, not too many. But if I click inspect on that, there's the comment count number 1. Click the three ellipses, copy selector, and you can actually see right there. That uniquely identifies that spot on the page. And so now when this runs, it'll also say, hey, there's been this many comments. I'll say run as a Java application. Now, one of the things I've been using is the select first element, and that's good, especially if you know that there's only one instance of that object on the page. Another method that you can use is the select method, just not select first, but select, and that'll return a bunch of links. And so say you actually want all of the links on a page, you can just say elements with an S equals page to scrape dot select, and then you can say any of those A tags with an href. And if you do that, that's now going to return. I have to import that elements link. Page to scrape. I keep adding new characters in there. There we go. Page to scrape. Dot select. And now we can actually just link through all of those different elements there. Let me make sure I get the ahref done correctly. There we go. That looks better. And now I can just write a little bit of code to loop through all of those elements. That's just standard code. And so for each element in there, let's print, hey, this is a link, and the actual attribute of the link, right? This is getting us the link, a list of links back. We go through them one at a time. We name them link as we go through, and then we just get the href attribute of each anchor link. And when we run this, Eclipse runs, and you can see well, we're getting all the preamble up here. This is the title, this is the author's name, this is the number of comments, and here you see it's actually now printing out all of the different links that are on the page. Anyways, that's it. That's how we go about scraping some pages with JSoup. It's a really nice library to use, and as you can see, it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. If you enjoyed the tutorial, we'll head over to the server side. There's lots more over there, and feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'm just Cameron MCNZ. Happy Java.